Okay, so it's recording, and then I'll just go over the consent questions. So the first, do you have any questions from all of that?
So far, so good.
So far, so good? Okay. So the first statement is, I voluntarily agree to participate in this study, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. I agree to be audio recorded, we covered. That's still a yes?
Yes, 100%.
I agree to be contacted for follow-up research. This is just if after our interview ends, you know, in a month or two, if I'm like, oh, I just need to clarify something, or some new themes come up that I want to explore, would it be okay to be in touch with you again and see if you'd be willing to do another interview?
100%.
Okay, great. So I am going to just write oral consent in here instead of signature, and today is the 20th, and I will sign it. And then the second page is about follow-up. So we talked about follow-up interviews. Are you interested in receiving copies of the materials? So those would be any articles that are produced. The book, I probably will not have enough free copies to distribute to participants, but I can let you know when the book comes out. And, you know, all of this will be a few years on. So it's not going to happen right away, but if you're interested, if you're interested, then I would take other ways of contacting you that you're willing to share. Like if you're on Facebook, what Facebook name do you use? Any alternate email, phone numbers. That's just to maximize the odds of being able to find people again.
Yeah, 100%. I really do want to see what comes about with this.
Okay, great.
And so Facebook, I don't use Facebook. I mean, okay. I don't know if Twitter, Instagram's an option, but my handle, my handle is the same. My handle is going to be Steven Mensa _
So STEPHEN. No space or anything between first and last name?
No space.
Okay. Mensa, MENSAH?
Yeah, underscore. So that's my Twitter and Instagram.
Underscore at the end, and that's Twitter and Instagram. Perfect. Do you have any other email addresses?
Yeah, so this one's my name, Steven Mensa 1027 at gmail.com.
Steven Mensa 1027?
Yes, that's correct, please.
At gmail.com. And are you comfortable sharing a phone number?
Yes, 647.
647.
679.
679. Okay.
262.
Sorry.
2682.
Thanks. 2682. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, that's all the formal stuff. And unless you have any other questions, I will dive into the interview.
We're good to go.
Good to go. Excellent. Okay, let me get organized here. Put that right. That. And here we go. There's my questions. Okay. First question is actually not on the list, but it should be. How old are you?
I'm 19 years old.
19, great. And can you tell me a bit about your current work or school situation? I know we're all under kind of house arrest at the moment, but maybe without the pandemic, what would you be doing?
So I'm a Ryerson University student.
Mm-hmm.
Do you need to know my program?
If you like.
Yeah, my program is a double major in criminology and politics and governance.
Okay.
And Ryerson University. I'm a first year going into my second year.
Okay.
What else? In terms of my work situation, I do kind of like too much. But like right now, I'm a facilitator with the City of Toronto.
Yeah. What? And what does that entail? What does it mean?
So like because specifically right now I'm working with the Toronto Youth Equity Strategy. So it's I'm sure you've heard of it. So like right now I facilitate certain programming and workshops focused on life lessons or education, money, finances, all that stuff.
Okay. For who?
For youth Yeah, for youth, yeah, for youth aged
All youth or specific groups or
10 to 20. Yeah, no, not 10. Like 12.
12,
Yeah, 12.
12 to
Yeah.
20? In is it targeted at particular groups like?
Well, they're all across the city of Toronto, like downtown, but my quadrant of focus is the west side of Toronto.
Okay, which I know Toronto. What's the
So west
kind of
would be,
streets? Yeah.
I'd say the Keelsdale, Eglinton, Western Road, Eglinton, basically Keel and Eglinton would be the point
Keel and
where
Edmonton.
one
Okay.
reaches.
Okay. Excellent. And so do you do the workshops there, like in community centers or something, or how do you?
Exactly. We go to community centers or sometimes the schools, not schools, libraries.
Yeah.
Libraries.
Yeah.
But it's one of those two.
Okay. Okay. Great. I suspect I'll be asking more about this, but we'll come back to it. So you're in summer now, I guess, going into second year university. Is this paid work? Being the facilitator?
Yes, it is paid work.
It's paid work. Okay.
So, if we're talking about unpaid work, that's like a list. It'll take an hour. Like.
Okay. Well, give me a sample of the unpaid work.
Currently I'm education lead with the Toronto Youth Cabinet. That is unpaid.
Yeah.
So what I do there is I have a bunch of young people. We plan and create an initiative to tackle, and I go to schools. I go honestly everywhere across the city where I can find youth. Talk to them about my plan and get them support, things of that sort. And I do research. We have a research team, media team. We're doing all of that. So
is that all
doing all of that
connected to the Toronto Youth Cabinet, or are those separate, like the research?
Yeah, all that's all connected to the Toronto Youth Cabinet, my group.
Okay.
And I'm also the youth director at a community center.
Okay.
That's a volunteer.
Okay. Which community center?
It's called For Youth Initiative.
Oh, okay.
It's also in the Keelsdale, Eglinton area.
Yeah.
And with that position, I promote education-focused programming within the youth drop-in space.
Okay.
And I act in an advisory capacity all the time. I act in an advisory capacity to staff, community partners, and board of directors, and things of that sort.
Okay. Advisory, like you advise them on?
I advise them on the challenges affecting the youth in the community.
Okay. Did you grow up in this community?
100%, yeah.
Yeah, right. So you know it. Okay. Where do you currently live, and in what circumstances? Are you at home with family? Are you in shared accommodation? Are you in a house, an apartment? Just those kinds of things.
Yeah, so as of right now, I am living with my parents, both parents, and I live with my twin brother, and I also live with my sister.
Okay.
I have two sisters, but one of them is married and all that, but I live with one of them also.
Okay.
And what kind of accommodation? Yeah, so that would be with them, which same area, Keelsdale, Eglinton, just part of the city.
Yeah.
Was there another part to that question I missed?
Are you in an apartment or a house?
Yeah, apartment complex, yeah.
Apartment complex. How big?
Our specific residence is 3-bedroom.
3-bedroom, okay.
Yeah, that's good.
Is it, and again, you don't have to answer any questions, but I'm curious, is it part of Toronto Community Housing, or is it a private rental?
Months I've been trying to find out, but from what I understand, we get funded from the city, but it's not direct Toronto Community Housing. It's owned by some other people.
Like a rent supplement you guys get? Something like that?
But yeah, I know my parents get those, the rent to basic income, something like that.
Okay, great. My research, I've been working with homeless young people for a long time, and I'm also focusing increasingly on housing. So I'm just also curious about, what kind of housing is available in different cities, how people access it, that kind of thing. But it's also relevant in just kind of understanding where people are coming from, as much as you can in a short interview. Okay. So can you tell me about your educational background? You have started university. Sounds like if you're 19, you probably completed high school and went straight to university?
No, so like I took a year off, so
Okay.
I should be going to my third year, but I took a year off.
Oh yeah, because there's
back to my
no grade 13 anymore. Yeah.
yeah. I came back to my high school for a semester to get more credits.
Yeah.
No, was it get more credits? Yeah, to get the credits I was left with, and then I worked the rest. So yeah, I finished high school. Obviously, I'm in university. Took a year off.
Okay.
And I went to maybe this might be important too. Yeah, it will be important. I went to Ghana for 3 years to school. I left. I was born here, all that good stuff. I left in grade 8, and I came back in grade 11. So that was another reason why I had to come back another semester to get more to finish off my credits.
Okay. Why did you? I presume you went with your family at that age.
I went with my mom. My dad stayed here, and I went with my twin brother and my sister.
Okay. What took you and your family there?
I wish I knew, but it was mostly educational. That was the goal, education, so we can be much more better in discipline and education. I'd say religiously, just in the society too, in the area we live in as well. It was presumed that if we had stayed, who knows our path that we may have taken. Although I remain firm that I would have still been a good boy right now.
Right.
But that was another. Those were the three main parts as to why we left. So education, I guess the community we lived in, and I guess the religious aspect too.
Okay. So is that because your mom is from that area?
Yes, both my parents are from Ghana.
Okay, from Ghana. Okay, great. So for 3 years. So that must have been pretty interesting to leave Canada, go there for 3 years, and then come back. Was it?
It was
probably hard to summarize, but what was it like?
It was honestly I don't regret going, to be honest, because it really did much. 100%. I owe my educational success and discipline in education and passion for it due to going to Ghana, and I just grew in all aspects of my life. So I'm glad.
Okay.
And you get to see the different parts of because it's not like how you see on the 30 cents a day type of garbage. It's totally different. Obviously, there's areas where they are rural or like very impoverished or whatever. Yeah. You can find downtown Toronto with your rice.
Yeah. Awesome. That's wonderful. I mean, it's a fantastic experience. Okay, and so educational background. Okay, so you started at Ryerson. You're continuing at Ryerson. Are you enrolled in a 3 or 4 year degree?
4-year degree.
4-year degree, double major. That makes sense. And do you anticipate going on after? Like, what do you imagine after university?
After university, I'm going to law school to get my law degree. Most likely, I want to go to U.S. to get a scholarship there. Because so far, I've gotten all scholarships to go into university, so I'm trying to keep up that level until I finish my school life.
Yeah.
That's my goal.
Which scholarships are you?
So right now, I'm applying for mostly community-based scholarships that, what work you've done in the community. Those ones have been very successful.
Yeah.
And academic ones too. Like I got an entrance scholarship to Ryerson because I had above 80%.
Nice.
So
yeah. Awesome. Congrats.
Thank you very much.
Okay. And can you tell me a bit about your parents' background? So they're originally from Ghana. When did they come to Canada?
They came. So my sister right now is almost in 30, so they came. Probably I'd say 23 to 5 years ago.
All right. So.
Give or take. Most likely, give or take. Because I know my dad came before my mom, and my mom came after.
Late 90s then?
Yeah, late 90s for sure.
Yeah. Do you know what brought them here?
My father had I know my father had a brother in the States.
Yeah.
And if I'm correct, he has family here, but I think he had a brother in the States, so he decided to just come to Canada as well. Or he had a brother in Canada as well, and then he decided to join. But he for sure had a brother in the States.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if he had a brother in Canada.
Okay. And Was it for economic opportunities or?
I'd say so, because like this Lincoln, before he even got to Canada, he had went to different countries. He had went to, I think, he had stayed in Italy,
Mm-hmm.
some different country,
Mm-hmm.
and whatever. Then made his way some country in like in Europe, whatever. Then made his way to Canada.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe it was probably work and educational opportunities
Okay.
as well.
Okay. Did your parents, were they already together when they came, or they came separately? You said your father came
married.
first.
They were married before they even decided to come. They were married.
Okay, so they met in Ghana. They were
Yeah.
married, and then they came. Okay. But your father came first.
Yes.
And then your mom came with your older sister?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. And what kind of education do your parents have?
So for my father, he did some type of program or whatever at York University or whatever, but he's interpreter for like the province or whatever. He's like one of those provincial interpreters.
Okay.
So he
Great.
works with courts, hospitals,
Yeah.
child services, etc.
Cool.
And then my mom, I think highest level education was high school, whatever was whatever high school.
Yeah.
And she's currently working in like the packaging food industry.
Okay. Did your older sister go to university?
Yeah, she graduated all that stuff. Right now she's a nurse at obviously a hospital. I'm thinking which one. I think Tobago.
Okay.
Tobago General, but no, Brampton. I'm so done.
Brampton.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're all outside Toronto somewhere, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you tell me a bit about how you came to the work you do with the Toronto Youth Cabinet, or under the category of what you would consider activism?
Mm-hmm. Honestly, how I came, I feel like, and it's important to mention for me specifically that I only, like when I think of like politics and activism, I think of like kind of like kind of like a human connection, like kind of like understanding the issues that human beings face. And I mostly started to become empathetic when I was in Ghana. And that's why I really find that my experience there was important, because like stuff that you saw, whether it's driving on the road or whatever, think about education, housing over there, education poverty, and coming to Canada and seeing basically the same thing, and like they like to call kind of like a rich country, like in a country like Canada. So it's like that kind of like led me to my first activist political environment, which was volunteering for a campaign, the provincial campaign.
Okay.
The most recent one was my first one.
Okay.
And and so like hearing, knocking on doors, canvassing, like it was a new experience, but like it was the most rewarding, because like hearing people's experiences, like actually putting a face to what you always constantly hear.
Yeah.
Like the same thing. Oh, whether it's a housing issue, whether it's an employment issue, It just started to motivate me more to be like, okay, now this something is not right. There needs to be a change. And I did back-to-back elections, which never again I'm doing. I did the provincial one. I canvassed for the municipal one, which was right after.
Oh.
I did the same thing for federal. So all in all, canvassing for all 3 elections.
Yeah.
Different priorities, different levels of government.
Yeah.
But I heard the same thing 9 times out of 10. 9 times out of 10, I heard basically the same concerns.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't matter whether people really understood the difference in levels of government and their jurisdictions, but the same concern was, I need money, I need new opportunities, I need a safer environment, community safety aspect, things of that sort.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Who were you volunteering with for those different elections?
So for the provincial one, I volunteered with MPP 5. He's currently won, thankfully. MPP Faisal Hassan.
Okay.
He's a New Democrat and MPP. For the municipal one, I volunteered for Chiara Palavani.
Okay.
She's Chiara Palavani, whatever. there's no party for that one. So
Yeah.
I mean, we know there's party, but like there's not a party.
Yeah.
For the federal one, I volunteered for another NDP candidate.
Okay.
Which is Yafet Tawal. Honestly, I want to say I'm split because like I kind of first was volunteering for the incumbent minister Ahmed Hussein.
Yep.
But then I'm like, I knew the candidate Yafet, so I'm just like, let me be loyal. And I actually believed in what he wanted to do, so then I just volunteered for him the rest of most of the way.
Right. Okay. Is Ahmed Hussein in your riding then?
Oh yeah. I mean, he doesn't live here, but
no,
he's
but
in our riding.
It represents. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So, okay, so you came to activism. You were saying about kind of being in Ghana and starting to see the issues, coming back to Canada, seeing the same issues, and you began to volunteer for these campaigns. And then what led you? What happened after that? Like now you're in the Toronto Youth Cabinet.
Yes. After that, I'm just like want to take after volunteering with all these people and gaining a network and experience things of that sort. I just began to grow my own passions and interests, and kind of like wanted to center which issues caught my attention more. And that leads into the Toronto Youth Cabinet. Education was like the main thing because I remember I started this mini petition in regards to the cuts to education or whatever, to like give a bunch stack to the MPP to table in the legislature. But I'm just like, everyone was talking about cuts to education. I'm just like, I don't want to be following the bandwagon. Like, I mean, yeah, it's important obviously, but I want to start something kind of like new. But obviously it's an issue that's been talked about, but I want to kind of like lead something myself. So I joined the cabinet. I'm like, let's talk about the issue that we're talking about right now, which is we're trying to tackle systemic racism in the education system.
Great.
So then that's when I'm just like, and we know this is people have been advocating for decades, but like I found uniqueness in that it can. I found uniqueness in that like you see it. The most of the people who are advocating about this are the older generation, and not so much the younger people. And even within Black Lives Matter, like that's even arguably mostly focused on police violence, police brutality, whatnot. Not really centered focus on education. So that's why I'm just like, you know what? Let me put all my focus on education and how it's affecting Black, brown, and Indigenous people, racialized people, Black, Indigenous, and racialized individuals.
So, are you finding like? Do you feel as if the Toronto Youth Cabinet is a place where you are, like that the work you're doing is making a difference, or like what's the experience like?
Well, after being there for 1 year, I mean it's hard at the same time. It's hard because we are a municipal body in municipal legislation, whatever. So I'm kind of limited in what I can do.
Yeah.
But I have been able to tread the line and like have a lot of leeway, and like I guess it's about how you finesse it basically to like still tackle the issues. Because at the end of the day, you know, I can tackle the issues within the Toronto school boards, which is what people prefer. But at the same time too, I don't want to, you know, for example, eradicate racism in one board. Yeah, it's happening in all the 72 school boards in the province. So that's been my focus. But like all in all, it's been a good opportunity. Do I think that's a good place for me to actually influence and impact change? I say yes, because they do have the name. They've been there since like Olivia Chow when she was city council, like 20 plus years. So 1993, that's the exact one. So like they do have the name. They do have the clout, for example, so to say. So I do feel like so far we've been able to do a lot of work. It's just about how we organize ourselves and how we how you go about it. You just got to be really careful and not specific, careful and meticulous or whatever in how you do it, how I move.
Okay. But okay. Tell me more about being careful and meticulous. Like, and I'm curious about how. So you know, you're at the municipal level. Toronto Youth Cabinet's been around for a while. How are the municipal politicians taking your work? Does it feel like they're listening?
Oh, in terms of my work, especially education, since especially what we're tackling, and education, all in all, is mostly a provincial thing. Though municipal does have some parts or whatever, but not arguably like childcare, after school programs, etc.
Yeah.
But the politicians I've interacted with have been provincial politicians,
Okay.
like people from all like the education critic, Matt Styles, or activation curriculum, and even members from the Conservative Caucus and former Premier Callie Wynn. These are like some of the people I've interacted with in my journey or whatever to kind of like get things done.
Yeah.
Like, I guess in terms of I can explain like how my interactions with them has been.
Yeah.
It was receptive. I mean, from the what was it, right wing, left wing, the NDP liberal side, it's been receptive, 100%. Consider side too. It was very receptive as well. That shocked me. I won't lie. It was very receptive. So, but it's like there's been receptive, but it's like it's always. I guess it's all words, and I've always made it clear from the get-go that I'm not here to just like shake your hand and take a picture. And I've actually said those words too. And I'm here to like see like how we can really take action on something that's been going on for like decades and years. Because not just I always mention that it's not just a number. These people are not numbers. They're actually human beings. Like the amount of parents, students, teachers I've spoken to, I've been privileged to speak to, and while they're talking to me about the experiences, that's made me approach this more humanly, which I already did.
Yeah.
But I found a difference because first, and I'm so proud of myself on this one, because first I'd be in events or like deputation, whatever, and I'd be like 50% of this. I'd be saying the statistics left and right. But then now I've come to a point where I won't say the statistics. I'll say the actual experiences. Because I know the numbers, but the numbers aren't important to me. The people who actually represent the numbers that are more meaningful.
Yeah, yeah. Where do your parents rest politically? Like, are they supportive of this work, and have they been politically active? And
So, I'd say like my parents, especially in terms of work I do, they're 100% supportive of it. Especially how I can find the school work balance. But in terms of like where they lie politically, my mom is, I would say like votes more liberal NDP, 100%. Now my dad, on the other hand, he's conservative. He's voted conservative before, but he's also voted liberal before, so he's kind of, I guess, in the middle, center, whatnot.
Yeah.
But that's where they would vote. And in terms of active, I guess one of the most important things one can do be civically engaged in is vote if they don't want to canvass or whatever. So they do vote in every election.
Okay. I think my dog is stuck. I can hear her making funny sounds. Can you hang on a sec? I'm just gonna check on her.
No problem.
I've got two dogs actually, and this is my old lady. She's deaf, and otherwise in very good health, but I think she seems to have pushed her way into my daughter's room, and then the door closed behind her, and then she was stuck. I could hear her making all these funny sounds. Anyway, she's out now. What's that?
What type of dogs are they?
I have, well, here, I can show you. They're both here. That's the old one walking out the door. She's a Catahoula, and that is my younger, she's an Australian cattle dog border collie cross.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Are you a dog person?
No, because I've been attacked by a dog before, so
okay.
I wanted one. I still do want one, but over that fear of dogs.
Yeah, fair. Where did was it in Canada or in Ghana?
No, in Canada. It was outside my park. I remember I was coming home, and sorry, give me 1 second.
Sure.
Okay, I just got an email telling me that I've been chosen against my education lead role, thankfully. 'Cause I had to apply again. It's a 1-year term.
Okay.
So I just finished the selection process, and I just got the email saying.
Hey.
Oh man.
Congrats. So that's in the Toronto Youth Cabinet still?
Yeah, Toronto Youth Cabinet.
Okay.
But in terms of the dog, yeah, I was outside in the park. I was left. It was Halloween day. I'll never forget in my life. It was 2 years ago on Halloween. I was going to the park, so I got to go home. Next thing you know, randomly I see something coming my way, and it's a dog, and I run. I did track and field, but I have asthma at the same time too, so I couldn't compete with the dog. And then I was just falling down. It was crazy. But then some kid who had the dog grabbed him or whatever. I'm just like. No, it's dangerous. And it wasn't a park where you're supposed to unleash the dog. That's what bothered me too. It was you're supposed to have your dog on a leash.
Yeah. Oh, that's awful. Did the dog bite you, or was it like he jumped on you?
It touched it touched my jeans. Like it kind of was grabbing my jeans, but it never really. No, I never really did it bite me. If it did, I would have taken some legal action.
Right.
But it was okay. Thankfully, it was good.
Okay, but left you scared of dogs, which is too bad. Yeah.
They're one of those small chihuahuas or that won't bite, or the ones that I can graze myself. So by the time they're big, big, I won't be scared because they know me.
Yeah, well socialized. Yeah, it's really all about how they're cared for by their people. Yeah. So. Okay, so we were talking about how you came to activism and your parents. Are there other things that you're currently involved in? It sounds like there's a lot connected to the Toronto Youth Cabinet. Are there other sort of things that are separate from that you're also doing? Well, you mentioned volunteering at the community center, youth director.
Being a youth director, I've been at that organization for the initiative. Since I came back from Ghana, that was in 2016, so good 3 to 4 years I've been with them, and I was just going there to get volunteer hours, but then I never expected to elevate within the organization, so I've really grown within the organization gladly, and I've been doing that for just facilitating. Before I was a youth director, and even to this point, I continue to facilitate programs there, help out where I can. I really do take on more of an advisory role because I'm so keen on ensuring that we have good programs, especially my whole focus, besides from education, it's matter education, it's the community safety and gun violence problem in Toronto. And so wherever I go, I'll always say education is the key, in my opinion, to solving the gun violence problem. Because at the end of the day, I look at my situation, I look at other people's situation, and it's similar, but we take different paths. And I feel the reason why is because I took education serious.
Right.
Despite all the odds that were against me and the systemic racism that I face in education, besides the lack of opportunities that I faced, et cetera. So it's I'm so keen on education as the key to solving the community gun violence problem, community safety problem, and education is key to reconciliation, the Justice St. Clair said in the Truth and Reconciliation Commission report.
Right. Yes. So why, you just mentioned the sort of walking down two different paths, and you chose to take education seriously. What do you think allowed you to do that, or why did you choose that path?
And honestly, I'll have to use the word. It was I'll use the word destined. And the reason why I use that word is because when I applied for the Toronto Youth Cabinet, I did not apply. You can apply for 3 positions. My first position was community safety. I've always been interested and focused on the violence problem, gun violence problem, and police, racial profiling by the police and carding, etc. And my second position I applied for was education. But then I remember got an interview and they said education. I was I thought I bombed that interview, to be honest. And so it's I guess if it wasn't for that fact, to be honest, I wouldn't be education lead right now. Not at all. I don't think my focus on education. I don't think it would be that deep as it is right now. I mean, I always found the importance of education, but I wouldn't have seen myself in an activist type of role in terms of education.
Okay. And backing up further, why did you take education seriously in terms of your own schooling?
Oh, going back to going to Ghana, like just the discipline measures that they use over there,
Okay.
and like I always say this, wherever I go, I always say the first day I went to Ghana, I got lashed. Even though I'm just like when me, my brother and I fresh from Canada, we didn't do anything wrong, but then the class did something wrong, and it's like all together in this, so they had to give like lashes on the hand and to everyone. But I went to a private school, so that wasn't condoned.
Okay.
There's some teachers just had their own different techniques, or whatever.
Right.
But education serious in Ghana due to the fact that they stressed it so much. Like they really stress education as so important. That's why when I don't understand, and that's why like when people kind of like want to belittle African nations or third world countries or whatnot, it's like these people are really smart. These people, like the work I did in Ghana, when I came back to Canada in grade 11, I had done that work my first year in Ghana. So I'm just like, the teacher was always wondering why I finished early, why I always got 90s. Like, I remember one time she even said, oh, were you cheating? Which is another thing so many white teachers like to say to black students.
Yeah.
But it's like, nah, I'm like, we learned this stuff. I learned this stuff 2 years ago. So it's like, that also gave me my success in high school.
Yeah.
So like, why would... And I guess my passion came towards it too because not everyone had the opportunity in Ghana to be educated. Because I went to a private school, but then other people who go to the government schools, it's like the quality of education, is it the same? That's a question mark. And this another question mark is mostly, they don't have the opportunity. They have to go help their parents, sell food or like work in the shop, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
Just like everyone has a luxury and access to education.
Yeah.
So seeing all those stuff, it really myself nasty even.
Yeah.
You know, like, and I know I've always wanted to be a lawyer since I was in grade 8.
Okay.
So just like, yeah, I knew education was important, but like now I have it. I don't see as going to school just to going to school's sake. I see it as okay, no, I gotta go to school, I gotta go to school and take the right programs too. I'm not just taking easy programs. People like, why didn't you take your major as music or some easy thing? I could have done that, but it's like I'm actually trying to gain some type of real education that'll help me in my active advocacy and my future roles.
Yeah, amazing. Last kind of background question, and then I'm going to move on to talk more about democracy and citizenship. And the question is, what have been the most important influences in your activism?
Most important influences in my
like have shaped your ideas or shaped your directions, or it could be people, could be books, or...
I'd say like, cause like my ideologies and like mindsets mostly, I guess, liberal NDP like. So like, and if it wasn't what's influenced it, well, I'd say Ghana again. Like Ghana, cause just that whole seeing how people live in the country and whatnot, and really wanting to make a difference. And yes, in Ghana, because I can still, let's say, when I rise up to position of Prime Minister of Canada, I can still make an influence in Ghana. Because that is my goal, to be Prime Minister.
Awesome.
I can still make such an influence in another country.
Yeah.
It's like, my influence, my advocacy has been Ghana, and has been, like all the volunteer opportunities too. Like, oh my gosh, I think of like, I volunteer like almost everywhere. Currently, I'm also volunteering at West Park Healthcare Center. It's also in the York Southwestern Riding.
Yeah.
And I'm West Park is a rehabilitation center and a long-term care home as well. Okay. So I do recreational activities with the patients and do all that sorts of stuff. And like just interacting with them, seeing the, I don't know, just like, because I've always wanted to build my humility and like my empathy aspect too, because that's really what's gonna drive me to be more of a passionate advocate for whether those with disabilities or those in any aspect who are like suffering in society. So those, I would say Ghana, my volunteer experiences as well. Not education, never education. I would never mention education ever. And I would say I don't owe my I'm not here right now because of education.
Right.
No doubt, I'm going to tell people I know the importance of it,
Mhm.
but I did not gain any of my knowledge
Yeah.
and education in Canada. No,
Okay.
not at all.
Okay. I definitely want to come back to that. In later questions. Okay, shifting gears slightly. This section, things get a bit abstract, but there's no right or wrong answers. It's just like exploring your thoughts. And the first one is, when I say the word democracy, what comes to mind?
And the first thing that comes to mind is, I would say, Abraham Lincoln, how he whether the government was of the people, by the people, for the people. The government of the people, for the people, by the people, whatever.
Yeah.
And that was the first definition I learned in Ghana. I learned the whole idea of democracy. It was first taught to me when I was in Ghana.
Okay.
So then I'll never forget that type of definition. So when I think of democracy, that's what comes to mind. And I guess a free and equal society, but it's like I feel like we have to move away from as time went by, we move away from the equal aspect to strive for more equity, or just removing barriers altogether.
Removing barriers, yeah. In Ghana, did you learn about that in the Ghanaian school system, or was that just in the community? This idea.
No, it was in the the school I was in for a social social studies class. What did they call it? But yeah, it was one of those like government classes.
Yeah.
Where we learned about the democracy in Ghana, and democracy in like European and North American countries as well.
Yes. Okay. Well, next question is, do you remember learning about democracy in school? And if so, what did you learn? So you mentioned in Ghana. Did you learn about democracy as a concept at all in Canadian schooling that you remember?
No. No, not at all. To be honest, not at all. Maybe it was probably taught. I'm sure was probably taught to me somewhere along the actual knowledge of it, especially in elementary school and high school.
Yeah.
No, definitely not in high school. I would remember.
Okay.
Is it my internet connection?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, it's the message popped up saying like my internet connection's unstable.
Same with I got that same message. So I don't know. Well, it was getting a little bit pixelated, but I can still hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you totally fine. So.
Yeah. Okay. So you were back. You said you're in Ghana from grade 8 to grade 11. Like, were you back in Canada for grade 11 or for grade 12?
I was back in Canada for grade 11.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you did grade 8, 9, and 10 in Ghana, or grade 9 and 10?
Grade 8, 9, and 10.
8, 9, and 10 in Ghana. Okay. And then so grade 11, 12, you don't remember them talking about democracy at all?
No, not at all.
Okay. So then, where else did you learn about democracy? School in Ghana? Other ideas you have? Where have they come from?
Where else I learned about democracy? I'd say with all these, like with all the research and stuff I've done in terms of like when you talk about social justice issues or just like politics in general, like that word tends to pop up a lot. But like when I really sit down and say I went in depth to like on the word democracy, no, but the ideas of democracy, and this will kind of like segue into the next question, like this country I would not say is maybe by on paper we are a democracy, like in terms of like how we actually go about and how our societal institutions are. I would not say we are a democracy at all.
Okay.
Why not? But you can ask a follow-up.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So you're right. That's what I want to know more about. So tell me more about that. So the next question is: do you feel as if Canada is democratic? Why or why not?
No, and going just to like the Abraham Lincoln's definition, I feel like that one's a good one too because I can break it into pieces properly. Like so, like is the government of the people. Now looking at our government, Canadian government, not even in terms of who's in power, just in general, the government itself. Is it a government of the people? Yes, but it's a government of like it's like selective in which people it's going to govern, or it's in which in which people it's going to govern, and it's selective in which people uh uh it's going to let's say use it with aid or help out with it whatnot. That's part of government by the people. Right, would by like government, so the government of the people by the people. So yeah, by as in okay, man, yeah. So when we talk about by, talk about like forming the government, terms like probably like voting and things of that sort. And I don't like the voting system here. And that's why we have parties like and just to be blunt, I'm not even an NDP person too. I mean, I might seem like and I've kind of distance myself from party politics or just party in general. Just trying to, I love the nonpartisan work, but like that's why you don't see governments like parties like the NDP really rising up because of the command that was a single. Well, I did an essay on this.
Yeah, the first past the post.
First past the post.
Yeah.
Right now, but rather we need proportional representation or a ranked ballot or whatnot. So like, do I think this Canadian government is a government by the people? No, because we already know. Even talking about party politics, that most of these politicians are lobbied or owned, even by usually owned by companies and corporations or whatnot. And I'm not even trying to play on to like the one would argue rhetoric of like these parties or oil companies offshore. Like forgetting all these words, all in all, there is an influence on these all politicians, and that's like I don't think that can be denied at all. And it's like the scene movements like Bernie Sanders, grassroots organizing, all in all. I feel like that's will give us like true democracy, for lack of a better like expression. Like that part of government by the people. Nah, this is not government by the people. Because let's not even talk about let's not talk about. Let's talk about like I mean, in the States, I know certain people in prison or whatnot can't vote, and like there's gerrymandering in the States. Correct me, is it gerrymandering here in Canada? Does that take place?
Gerrymandering. I don't know.
Not to the same extent.
Yeah, probably not to the same extent. I'm not sure. I haven't heard about it happening. That doesn't mean it doesn't, but yeah.
But like even this whole idea of silencing people's vote and not enabling them to vote, whether it's Indigenous people in their rural communities or just access in general, like all access in general. So like it's really you can't really say this government is by the people, was formed by the people. That's fully false. Now going to the last part of government for the people, 100%. Obviously not. Obviously I know. I do not personally, from a personal perspective, let's say putting all the what I know aside. No, actually no, I'm keeping all I know. I would not say this government in general serves my best interest, and I always tend to not look at it from even individual perspective, but just holistically as in the general interest of society. And I still don't think, even from a general general holistic perspective, that the government serves in the best interest for the people, or even serves in the interest for the people. And as I said, going back to like the how these politicians and parties are just like owned by whatever by basically, or like whatever, like the campaign fan, all that stuff by companies or whatever. So it's like it's not for it. And like now my whole idea of like if this government if it was a democracy and it was truly for me and for what I stand and for let's say equality or equity, whatnot, it's we wouldn't see what we see right now.
Right.
So it's a big no.
So this is fascinating, and like super insightful, and then you're also involved in the more formal side of things, like campaigning canvassing, doing the Toronto Youth Cabinet. So is that does that feel like an internal conflict at all? Like feeling like government as it stands is not really democratic, and yet trying to help people get elected and stuff like that.
And it is because it's just like I forgot the quote, but it's just like looking at the systems and institutions that we have right now. It's like I know they're not democratic or they're not like to promote political freedom or equality or whatnot. But it's like that's why I'm so keen on the fact that we need to, whether it's overhaul our institutions or like create a new type of government and society where people's voices are truly representative, and whether it's our legislature, basic politics, or just represented in all facets of society.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like being in the cabinet and like looking at the market, and I was just like, yeah, and I guess being in the cabinet, because the Toronto cabinet is 100% nonpartisan,
mm-hmm.
and just like from what I've seen, even within municipal politics too, where yes, obviously everyone has their own campaign donors, et cetera, but it's like it's still the same. I know, and I was talking to my boss about this like this week. I'm just like, because like something occurred, and just like all these politicians are just they love playing politics. They just love playing they get into their games, looking forward to the next 4 elections. How like as soon as you win, how can I win the next election? So it's just like our government has just been like true democracy seems to have been replaced with people's personal interests.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what's deep? I should write that down.
Yeah, I'm ready to. Yeah.
Is it possible to? I mean, like, are you gonna take notes? Wait, no. Are you taking? No, are you going to take notes?
I'm taking notes. I'm taking notes. Yes, and I've got the audio recording, which will be typed up. So, yeah. Are you?
Am I able to like get a copy of that?
Sure, I can do that. Okay. Yep.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Yeah, for sure. The government, our institutions. Yeah, because you can't talk about government without talking about our institutions that are a part of our government. They're just totally. And that's because we gotta talk about history of colonialism and like, oh goodness, yeah, just going to like just talking about that part too. Is like you cannot tell me in 2020 that the government or that kind of generals of democracy, especially when our institutions were founded upon slavery and residential schools. Like this stuff, you can't tell me that we are in a democracy, especially with these type of institutions still.
Yeah.
In the role that they were meant to play, which were to oppress everyone else, but to lift up the white man or white woman.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. And so, where did these ideas, this like really coherent, powerful critique you have of democracy and Canadian democracy, where did you develop those ideas, or how?
No, most of what I said, I'm like, if I were to like say, how I got this from there, I got this, I'd be lying because I couldn't even trace them.
Yeah.
But all in all, I always say that I owe it to every experience that I partake in. So whether it's in the cabinet, whether it's my role with community organizations, I think, and that's why I'm so keen. I'm glad that I expanded my not even interest, but my reach and like where, because I don't put my time into something that I know won't be beneficial for me. It's like I make sure I basically diversify my life and my interests. So that's why I went to go volunteer at the hospital, even without I already had all my volunteer hours. But when I woke up, it's like, you know what, I want to do this. So I was also a spokesperson for United Way and like getting that experience as well and giving my speeches with corporate like big corporations down in BMO and and seeing how I interacted with them, those people, from like, and just like, it's like all the experiences I've had in my life and just my own personal friend group and just social media, obviously 100% social media has been keen and like, so like I owe how my mind has been shaped But if I'm supposed to be even more specific, I'd say it's been shaped from my connections and relationships with all the people I've come into contact with, to be honest.
Okay. Can I ask, because you mentioned getting that email saying you would be able to continue in your role as education person, like how do you get into the Toronto Youth Cabinet? Is it a selection process?
So you apply. There's when applications come out, you apply for whichever lead or director role you want, and then after if you get to the next phase, which is an interview, the interview is with a panel of like 3-4 people that answer questions, and after that, they now I don't know what happens with the background, whether they check your references, because they do take your references and whatnot. So it's verbal, written. Yeah, the application process is written. It's not like you don't just submit your resume. They have many questions on like what skills you have, what initiative you want to partake in. But at the end of all of that, then they evaluate you to see if you're fit for the position.
Okay. So it's not elected in any way. It's like applying for a job kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. And do you know what kind of criteria they're using to put together the cabinet? How many members are there?
We have I'd say 15 to 16 or 15.
Okay.
We have a leadership team, an executive team, or in other words, we have working group leads, where like myself, education, community safety, housing, transit, etc. And we have a director role, so executive director of council relations, public advocacy, social media, etc.
But they're all selected through this application.
They're all selected. It's like I guess, and it's like what our Minister of Education is elected, but then our Deputy Minister of Education, she is selected. There's this split.
Right.
And like for the schools, we have elected trustees. I recently found out the student trustees were elected. I thought they were just chosen.
Okay.
So that was my mistake. Yeah.
Right. Okay. All right. When I say the word citizenship, what comes to mind?
Citizenship. I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is just like being acknowledged as a human being, or like being acknowledged as a human being in a country or in a particular setting. In a particular setting. All in all, we learned citizenship in Ghana as well. I think it was right after our democracy conversation. And it's like, I think of citizenship, I feel like it's, being, we can talk about the whole, as a citizen of Canada, you have all these rights and freedoms, but it's like, as a citizen, it depends on the environment you are in to determine if you get to experience and partake in your rights and freedoms and responsibilities and whatnot. So it really does depend in my eyes. But all in all, the first thing I said about citizenship, that's how I really see it as.
Yeah. Same questions. Did you encounter any information about citizenship as a concept in school?
I don't remember too much about what we learned about in Ghana.
Right.
But then I do know. I don't. This in Canada school too. I don't remember too much knowledge on what we learned about citizenship, but like from my I won't even try. I don't remember to be. I don't remember.
It doesn't jump out. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, where did you develop the ideas you have about citizenship, would you say?
Well, I guess I developed it, as time goes by, and then you start to see the injustices certain individuals face, and it's like, and just all in all, just even whether it's me looking at the experience of Ghana and like just the divide, even in Canada, everywhere you go, to this sort of divide in gender, class, or income bracket, etc., etc. So it's just like, if if we are all citizens, why aren't we basically? You know what I mean? Why? Yeah, we should all not all be at the same position in life, but we should. There shouldn't be such a huge divide in. Yeah, there shouldn't be such a huge divide in society. You know what I mean? But yeah, there
Yeah.
shouldn't be that type of divide present.
Yeah.
For sure, no.
Yeah.
And just the fact that some people are deemed. And when I think of citizenship too, it's like what comes to mind is like what's the word like I'm a citizen. I'm a citizen of Canada. I get to I get to experience the full rights and privileges and whatever owed to me. But then at the same time too, it's as I said before, it depends. So it's like in a black person's case, or indigenous person's case, yeah, and then I guess that whole idea of a citizenship too, like most people, like I think First Nations people, I felt that story on them, like if they were supposed to apply for citizenship, like just that whole history on that part too. That one part I don't know too much about, but like just the whole part in itself is like what is like citizenship? What does that even truly mean? And like in the context of at like indigenous First Nation history and like different aspects to go about it.
Yeah, yeah. This links to my next question, which is, do you feel as if you are a citizen in your country, in Canada, and what does that feel like?
Do I feel like I'm a citizen in Canada?
Mm-hmm.
I won't look at this from an individual perspective, but like I mean, briefly individually, I would say if I was to rank it on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd say 7 out of 10. I do feel like I'm a citizen, but at the same time too, it depends on the time, occasion, etc., because I'll use like an example of like there's a whole Black Lives Matter example, or indigenous peoples and how look at their living conditions and the fact and just all the problems that exist. It's like if we are all citizens, why are we not being treated? Going back to the whole democracy of like equally or equitably within that, why is there such a divide in how we treat people when we're all owe the same rights and privileges as anyone? So it's like, do I personally feel like as a black person, because that is who I am, yeah, and that's why I got remember like who you are as a person, as a black male, young, and living in Toronto, do I feel like as a citizen? I'd say, oh, for sure, no. The answer would be no, because looking at the whether it's the when we talk about just looking at how society all in all is against, I guess, people who look like me or like my race all in all, it's like the words right there. Just trying to like figure out like it's just so. It's like I'll never forget the day, for example, I left City Hall to go to my research, because I was also a co-researcher with the University of Toronto and an Indigenous professor, and so like I was going there for a meeting, and then I saw a police officer. I wanted to ask him a question. I always wanted to ask someone, a police officer, this question, but I just never had the time to. But I saw him. I gave him like a 1 meter distance. Like I was social distancing already before during that time, and then I called him out. Like I was like officer, like getting his attention, and then he turned around. He immediately turned around, put his hand on his gun, and he put his hand on his gun and stepped back. And I was just like shocked. I'm just like, whoa, in my head. I'm just like, whoa, what's going? Why so quick? And especially because it was daylight. It was right outside like a government building. The courthouses all around us. So police officers like almost every day moving around. And that day specifically, there were like 4 other police officers around. So it's like looking at the environment at that second, those like seconds leading up to it and after it, there was no reason for anyone to feel unsafe. Like that was probably the safest time ever. But then then he did that. He moved back while I was talking to him. I just immediately, my instinct was move my hand out of my pocket, which is not something black people should do, because I didn't know why. It was cold even. It was even cold that day too. It was like, why do I have to make you feel comfortable? So, but then I did do that. But then I'm like, no, I put it back in. I walked up in front of him while he moved back. I'm like, I went up, and then I'm just like, I asked my question in the middle of the conversation. It's like, oh, my bad if I scared you or whatever. He had a bad face after I said that, because it's like it's clear I scared you.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know. So like just looking at citizenship and status, and we can talk about migrant status and migrant workers and all that whole discussion. But like, if that was a white person in that situation, 100%, they wouldn't.
Totally
he
different.
wouldn't have reacted like that. So just like I feel like when they talk about citizenship and our legal rights, because we have legal rights, we have I say I learned this. We have legal rights. We have what other rights?
Social rights.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We have all these rights old to us, but it's like it's not really given to us sadly. Given to a select
selectively
people sadly.
Select
Yeah.
people. Yeah.
And it's 100%. Yeah, it's selective. It's like choosy. Like you could pick and choose who we want to. A cardin, for example, is not. It's legal. It's illegal. It is illegal to do that, and it's all in all, like we talk about human rights. That's not what's like should be happening at all, but then it is happening. Like indigenous people, their human rights are being invaded just by going to one of their homes in their rural community, whatnot.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So this is a question you've kind of already answered, but I want to give you a chance to elaborate, which is, do you feel as if you're seen as a citizen in your country by others? And some of the others I list are by politicians, by the general public, by the media, might add, by police, and why or why not? So the broad question is, do you feel as if you're seen as a citizen in Canada by others?
I'll start with the media and say for sure no, because just how the media has a way of making, Malcolm X even said it'll make the victim seem as a criminal and the criminal seem as a victim, and just seeing that currently in the Ahmaud Arbery case down in the States, because recently I started seeing some news people post some crazy stuff, and it's like, and you see that constantly, and just even in the news when a black person's a victim, whether despite anything, the picture even the news people want to portray is like a you look like anyone would say, oh, okay, this person looks like a hoodlum, is up to trouble, but then look at what happened in Nova Scotia. And the news, and they had the audacity to talk about, oh, this guy had a passion to become a dentist. Why do I care that he wanted to be a dentist? CBC, like that's just so crazy, and you see the difference in how, and that's when I said this, I'm just like, I'm not surprised, because they always want to make the white perpetrator. They want to humanize that person. That black person, they want to criminalize that person. And so like that's media, politicians. I mean, you have all of them. They do the talk, but it's like, are they? When it comes to actually taking action and doing something, you don't see that. Looking at our friend Trudeau, for example, him, it just. Just thinking of all politicians and then from all levels of government, especially when it comes in terms of the indigenous aspect, they all have a lot of talk and tears, but when it comes to actually doing stuff that they can do quickly right now, that's when it becomes like, oh, that's when they can't do it, etc., etc. So, what do we call it? So politicians, general public, public. No, you have white people in rural areas calling black people living in rural areas the N-word. I know one young black girl in the school. She was beat. Is all it's on global news. Last year she was beat bad by a bunch of white girls. They were calling her N-word. She had moved from Toronto to one of the no, I won't say no name parts of the province, but like one of the rural parts of the province, like where it's not major city at all. And her name is I'm so keen on remembering people's name. I have too much on my mind. So it's like it's just a shame that in terms of like just the general public in general, or in media, politics, in the classroom, in all of our institutions, certain people aren't seen, black people, indigenous people, racialized people, and you can even go. Let's not talk. Let's not talk about. Let's talk about women. Let's talk about what do you call it? Even those. Let's talk about religion and Muslims, and we can go about it. So we are all intersectional beings, so we can go about it in so many ways.
Yeah, yeah. Do you feel as if your views and perspectives are represented through official channels, like in politics and media?
Like, my views.
Your views, your priorities, your...
I would, no. I would say, like, it's like, I mean, it's always tokenism that's taking place in our institutions and by people. It's just like, I've done this, so let me check it out. But it's like, there's so much more to do that's not being done. And it's just like, because it's like the question, do you feel as if your views and perspectives are represented? My views and perspectives can be represented if they aren't even understood. And you can tell that clearly they're not understood by people are like really stuck in their ways and old mindsets, and that's why I'm so keen on educating people at such a young age. That's why we need to have Black Indigenous history and curriculum in there, because because like our education system is breeding ignorant individuals, and that's not gonna help anyone. So I do not feel like we're represented in politics. Political views and perspectives. No. It's like you can line up people whose ancestors were enslaved or people who were part of the residential school system, and like you can bring them into a politician, have a discussion, whatever. But most of these politicians will leave there still not changing their mind, like, and most people like, we need evidence, even when there's evidence-based research that's been conducted, that still doesn't get to people. You have a man like Doug Ford saying you need to arrest people to solve gun violence problem, but evidence shows we need to invest in social housing, communities, like more education, programming, etc., etc. So it's like it's not understood, it's not welcomed through official channels. Like, no. We have the United Nations decade. Right now, we're currently in the United Nations decade for people of African descent, and that's been recognized by all levels of government. But then, it's been recognized, and so what? What after? What are you really gonna do? So it's like they'll check it off their list and they'll hear it. But like, are you hearing to listen? Understand? Are you just hearing to? I don't know. It's just a shame.
Did you vote in the last election?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I'm glad I was able to. I wanted to vote in the provincial one, but I was able to vote in the federal election.
Okay. Why? Why did you vote?
Why did I vote?
Yeah.
I was always going telling people, my friends, everyone, go vote, etc. It's like, one, it would be kind of hypocritical of me, but all in all, I was so excited to vote. After actually while I was there voting, the experience didn't seem as how I expected it to be. But all in all, it was still good knowing that I was given the opportunity. But that's a whole different discussion. At least my vote even counts, etc., etc. But why did I vote? One, because I guess there's civic responsibility, and because every vote counts. I do believe in that. Every vote does truly count. In some areas, it gets close, neck and neck. So, like, I do know the importance of voting, and all in all, just even if the person I don't vote for, the party, so I would say, like, for example, NDP didn't win, but then just looking at by the data and whatever we can get from the elections, we can see that okay, a bunch of young people voted for the NDP. So I do know it will help influence and it'll help motivate other people. So that's very important.
So I'm going to guess you intend to keep on voting.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it's important. Are there any barriers for you to vote? Do you feel like
barriers?
Yeah.
Barriers. No, I mean for outside the voting stations, like just in my lobby, like like one of the rooms in my downstairs. So that's the most convenient ever.
Yeah.
But then in terms of like that's for me personally no. But then I do obviously know that other people do have barriers, whether it's I mean I guess every site most sites are accessible by wheelchair and things of that sort.
Yeah.
But I do know there are barriers that exist, 100%.
Yeah. Okay, but not for you. That's good. What would you say are the 3 most important issues that you think the government ought to be dealing with right now?
I have to say this. Seeing this one, I was really thinking. I mean, I know. Okay, obviously, 100%. We need to be working on reconciliation. That's 100%. So that's another issue. I'd say. I mean, I guess the question is which level of government. But for sure, reconciliation would expand to all levels of government. I feel need to be working on it. But another thing I feel the government should be working on is to issues. She's like, I mean, it's easy for. I mean, it's like, every ministerial role is an issue, whether it's climate change, whether it's housing, immigration, whatever. I feel like. Okay. I'll go back to for the indigenous one. I'll say indigenous, and I'll also say I'll add the whole we need reconciliation. People even say we need reconciliation when it comes to the Black community as well. That's the important side. So reconciliation for our historically oppressed individuals. That's key. And the 3 issues that our government ought to be dealing with right now. I mean, if I'm talking about eventually, I'll say education because and like just looking at the Truth and Reconciliation Commission report, education was part of that report too, and just like looking at the stuff, education was part, housing was part. So I would probably say education, housing, like. I mean, no, I won't say housing yet, but I'll for sure say education as my second point because like I stand from that. We need to address the whether it's we talk about achievement gaps between Black and white people, students, and it's all these other issues. But like all in all, we need to address the fact that students, the education they're learning, is not what they need to be learning. It's just failing. The system is really failing individuals, and it's more of a prison type. It's located. It arguably can be compared to a prison and how it silences people. 100%. From experience, hearing some of the stories I've heard from people, it can be compared to a prison. So I'd say, the reconciliation aspect, the education aspect, and another issue. First I ask for those 2 for do I think they are the government? The government's doing really right now. 100% the government's not doing with reconciliation. No. I was just talking about it with my friend right now. Like when we have Canada, who the Ontario chief medical officer had the audacity to say that when asked why don't we collect race-based data in healthcare, he's like, oh, we don't recognize color, or we don't look at that. It's like, what? How? That's the most. Like, you can't. It's not enough to not be racist. You need to be anti-racist. And it's like you can't say you don't recognize color in 2020 because that's all it's about.
Yeah.
So like, when you have a man like Donald Trump who even has said Donald Trump even recognized and said in his press conferences many times that oh yeah, we recognize that. Now, obviously, Donald Trump is who I don't. Yeah, that's. But the fact he was able to recognize it in itself is something to be applauded. It's like he even said, yeah, we recognize that. Racialized black communities are gonna be more affected. And that's when he talks about lies about what they're doing. But like, so like I feel like Canada, we really need to work on our reconciliation part. Indigenous communities are suffering. Black communities, those with more high rates of poverty, unemployment. That's where we're seeing things like COVID, like take keep and like just looking at who are in our profession, those PSWs and in these long-term care homes. It's majority women and it is majority racialized women too as well. So it's like we gotta really open up our eyes for that. But like, yeah, I don't think the government is dealing with the indigenous part. Just a couple of months ago in January, there was these rail blockades. Like it's not, they're not doing anything, and that's very like what most of everything that comes out to be. Yeah, the government needs to really deal with that. Cause I feel like there can be no, we can never go forward as a country. And I don't feel like Canada has the it shouldn't even have the courage to be even try to go talk about another country yet. Their own track record sucks. You can't go talk about China when you know you have crap in your backyard that needs to be fixed. And it's like obviously no one's talking about perfection, but it's no one's saying to be perfect, but it's like actually make a effort, a true and genuine effort to stop conducting all these reports and recommendations all for it to be tossed under the rug. That's one thing and that's why I said as my was education, I'm not gonna do no research, conduct no survey, no, I don't need that because we've been conducting research. We're tired of being asked the same questions. We're tired of being vulnerable every time and like talking about experiences just for it to be pushed away. And so like, yeah, they're not doing enough about that now in terms of education. Yeah, I think we would just like that's key to solving education. I said this in my speech at Queen's Park last time that education is I don't even remember my own speech. Education is like the framework and like it does determine where you end up in the future. Obviously, I'm not saying, and I'm not even talking about post-secondary education. I'm talking about basic elementary, high school education. That's so key, and it's not just about getting a diploma. It's about what did you actually learn in your 12, 13 years or whatever of high school. That's so important. I mean, high school and elementary school or whatever. So education, I feel, is key to solving or getting a better result in our other issues, such as like not seeing enough black doctors or black people in certain professions or indigenous professors or not racialized people, etc. So I feel like that's gonna help us. And another third thing, if anything, I'd say for the third thing that issue that we need to tackle is it's a hard one. I don't know. I mean, I guess there's so many issues, but I would say let's just say housing, to be honest, because we see gentrification happen in our communities, and we see that you have indigenous people and how they house precarious housing. Talk about precarious employment. Like we just need to deal with all the precarious situations that and how society puts these people into precarious situations. Like I feel like even all in all, I would say equity in itself needs to be at the framework of every single thing of every single issue that we're trying to tackle. And women's issues, intimate partner violence, we can go on.
Okay, wonderful. Have you ever participated in public protests or demonstrations? And if yes, which ones?
Well, not the ones I really, really wanted to go be part of, but like I've been a part of the climate march.
Climate march, yep.
Climate march. What else? I think it was mostly it was just and I've been at this Women's Day. Women's Day. I took part. I've been taking part in the last 2 years. I've been going to the Women's March.
Okay.
And yeah, that's those are the not really much of a protest.
Yeah.
Like is a demonstration, but like that. Those are really the only two things I can say are close to it.
Yeah. Which are the ones you said not to the ones you would like to go to? Which would those be?
I mean, well, obviously, I wouldn't want to go. I wouldn't want to go to this. Like, it's not like I want to. Like, when a black person gets shot, I'm not trying to go to one of those. I'd rather not. But like, I haven't had the experience of being a part of one of those rallies and whatnot. But all in all, I'm all about being proactive and not reactive. So it's like, that's why we shouldn't have to wait for another person to get beat by a police officer, before we say, you know what, let's rally, let's protest, let's do so and so. So yeah, so that's something that's something I'm even looking at it myself too. But that's something I'm interested in partaking in, because I feel like there's huge power, and not only huge power and solidarity as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's so key. Mm-hmm. And yeah.
Okay. Can I ask? I know, like, the word itself, activist, can be quite loaded and mean different things to different people. Is it a word you would use for yourself, or do you choose different terms?
Yeah, when people call me that word, I don't vibe with it as much. I always laugh when I hear that word. Honestly, I feel like the work I'm doing, whether it can be defined under activism, I see it as just, I mean, from a Christian perspective, I can say doing the work of God.
Mm-hmm.
And like from a society perspective, societal perspective, I can say you're doing the work of humanity, to be honest, because, you know, we shouldn't have to, that's what I'd say, I would act, I mean, I don't mind the word, but usually when you hear activists, most of these politicians like to claim that they were activists, and so, before, you know, maybe they were like activists, whether it's for food insecurity, whatever issue it may be, but I feel like it's just more than a word. Like, people just want to throw around the word. I'm an activist. Oh my Lord, that thing bothers me. That stuff bothers me. I feel like that word is being overused. And people just love the title. Like, if I'm not in it bad, I don't want no one calling me no activist. I don't want that to be my title. Most likely, like, no, it's just like, I'm an advocate. The work I'm doing is the advocacy, but like, don't call me an activist. Call me, if anything, call me what's the word? Call me a. I'll get back to that. But yeah, it's like that's why I said it first. It's just doing the work of humanity and doing the work of God, to be honest.
Yeah. Makes a lot of sense. Last two kind of subject questions. Do you feel like you are a political person, and what does that mean to you?
Do I feel like I'm a political person? Yeah. I mean, I'm involved politically, and I'm like, I think there's something called like being politically woke, or like just I'm woke when it comes to politics, I'd say. What do we call it? Do you feel like you're a political person? What does that mean to me? Yeah, like, I know whenever like issues like politics, or whatever, my friends always come to ask me as if I'm like this whole funding and grants that Trudeau's been doing. It's like as if I'm working with Trudeau. My friends keep asking me all the details, even though I do know the details about it. But it's like, so like, that's just going back to like, I guess what does it mean to be a political person is to be aware of your and before I even answer that, my skin color is politics. Like, my race is, my gender is politics. My religion can also be politics. Like, I think we are all political people. We're all political people. It's just a matter of understanding where you lie on the political spectrum is important. And 100%. And like, well, I guess what does it mean to be a political person? Just someone who's aware of the status politically in society, and a political person is someone who's I guess understands and how their government is the current state of their government and the history of the government and how its government and its institutions are being run. That's very, I'd say, if that qualifies, or that's a brief definition of a political person.
Okay. And last question is, do you feel as if you contribute to your community, and what does that mean to you?
Oh yeah, that one I do. I'd say humbly, I do feel like I contribute to my community, and whether it's with my volunteerism or whether it's with what do we call it? whether it's my volunteerism, whether it's with my constant advocacy, or whether it's just being present. I feel like that's something that people lack, is being present. And with all the community center volunteering in my community, like that is in itself is a contribution. Just volunteering at West Park in itself is a contribution. And for me, contributing to my community is like just recognizing the issues that this community faces and experiences the people, and then recognizing what the people of Yorkshire Western face on a daily, and to understand how I can do my part to make their experiences and make their current situations better. Because at the end of the day, I feel like if you want, whether it's as a politician or as a person, if your interest isn't to make things better and to change things that need to be changed and fixed, then are you really truly contributing to your community if you aren't constantly interested in the invested interest of your community as a whole? And I mean that can be taken in two different ways. Because let's say I live in a rich and Brattle Path in a rich area where Drake and all of them are. It's like, I mean, if I use a definition I just gave, like the interest of the people in my community, and that's when you can be talking about greed, et cetera, et cetera. But I think it's important to, when thinking about how you can contribute to the community, also think about how it relates to, and how there's connections with other communities, and how it relates and can affect another community. And you just got to be aware and conscious. That's one thing people need to be aware, is aware and conscious, and not thinking so close-minded, because at the end of the day, that has, I'm sure, closed-mindedness, I'm sure, has caused many of our, it has led us to where we are today, to be honest.
How would you define or like who, the question is something like who counts as your community, or what, or where, because the question is quite abstract. When you say you are contributing to your community, who is it that you're contributing to? How do you understand your community?
Well, when I'm contributing to my community, I see it as, who specifically, I'd say I'm contributing to the single mothers in our area. I'm contributing to the small business owners in our area. I'm contributing to the youth in our community. I'm contributing to and specifically name those people because it's like those are most of the people I've interacted with in this community, and those are those are the majority of the people who are what do we call it, experience the issues that I face in this community and other communities as a whole. So those would be the ones I'm contributing to.
Yeah, and it's geographic. Right?
Yeah.
Like it's sort of specific to the area, the Eglinton and.
Yeah, the Yorkshire Western community as a whole, but then the Kielsville, Eglinton, and just like, and looking at who am I contributing to, and in terms of the community, all in all, it's like we talk about the Black community in itself. Like I see, like I see myself as part of the Black community, obviously. So like whatever work I'm doing, I'm keeping in mind to what's the word? I'm keeping in mind that it's in the what I say it's in the interest of the Black community, 100%. You have to make sure our interests are at the forefront of everything, and to make sure that I'm basically I make sure whatever I do, I keep that part right at the top of my head to make sure that the Black community, I'm focused. I have part of my focus is on that as well, because keen on not losing sight of your roots and just your history. So
awesome. Those are all my content questions. Are there other things that I haven't asked about that you would like to talk about?
Give me 1 second to skim. I feel like, let me see, democracy, citizenship, public participation. I feel like all in all, and maybe these might be final comments, but like all in all, looking at public participation, looking at we have to recognize that people do not have the same opportunity to partake in I'll just say things with the public, or like just to partake in societal things. Like we talk about mothers, most single mothers, or just mothers in general, or just single individuals have to work multiple jobs basically to make ends meet, to pay their bill. I know I've spoken to so many individuals in my writing whose children have to get a job early, or like who have to just I have to go basically push hard just to ensure that there's a roof over their head. So it's I feel like it's important that when just thinking about people in society, democracy, how just thinking of society as a whole and democracy and citizenship, it's all just for nothing if inequality is continuing to be on the rise, and if we aren't striving to make it better, that's not if inequality is continuing to be on the rise. Democracy, citizenship, public participation, let's throw all that away. If things continuing to be the same, and it's just kind of useless. It's I can use the word. Well, little kid would say, "Oh, it's not fair," but it's. I guess it's even beyond being not fair. It's just a matter of we can't keep on the path of I'm in it for everyone. I'm in it for everyone. Our politicians can't keep on with the. We represent this whole community. Media can't be like, we got all the no. It's just like everyone. What you tend to see is everyone loves to say, we're in. They say we're in it together. We're in it together. Canada's full with this coronavirus. We're in it together. But it is, if we're truly in it together, the truth is we're not really in it together, because people's experiences are totally different. Now, obviously, in society, people's experiences are going to be different, but we're talking about drastically different, and that's where the problem lies. That people are literally suffering, trying to eat every day. Sorry, give me 1 second. I don't know why my sister's calling.
Sure.
Hello, sister. Sorry, Professor. Give me 1 moment.
That's okay.
Thank you. All right. Sorry. Thank you.
That's okay.
But yeah, like all in all, I feel like we got to draw all of these democracy, public participation, it's all of us and none of us. Because it is true, we do need solidarity. We do need to be in it together. But like, if that's not what's being exemplified by institutions, and if we aren't able to analyze and reflect and realize that okay, these institutions are failing us and failing certain people, then I guess it's just solid waste. And I guess that's another reason why I haven't even put too much of my focus on this democracy or citizenship, like what it truly means, because it's like it doesn't reflect my interests, and that's another thing to end the comments.
Yeah, that's great. That's basically the theme of the book I'm expecting to write out of this is, well, we'll see. It's also, obviously, it's shaped by what people have to say, but that we can't claim to be democratic with the huge levels of inequality that we're facing. And well, this is super helpful. I mean, my last kind of content question, if you're interested, is are there other things you think I should be asking in this project? Other questions?
The questions you have asked are in regards to like people's where they stand in society and how they are I guess what comes to mind is agency. I remember we learned this in childhood because they gotta keep in mind our agency and when we're dealing with young people. So I just feel like you actually effectively done that. You got a good image of my lifestyle, my family life, my education. So, yeah, honestly, I think you're right at the ball. To be honest,
excellent. Okay, good. I'm glad.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's it. The other stuff we already talked about follow-ups, and yeah. Thank you so much. That was super interesting. I have pages and pages of notes, and I've made a note to share the transcript with you. I'll share that note with Shihan, who's the one who was in touch with you, so he can help me remember also. But that's should be not too hard to remember. If you don't hear from me about that in a month, feel free to follow up. But I'm pretty sure I can remember to do that. It's just sort of buried in my notes, so things can disappear. But that was super interesting. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time. I'm looking forward to see the results of the research and the book and everything.
Yeah. And if you're interested, because I've been writing on this stuff for a while. One article of mine I was thinking of as you're talking, you might find interesting, and it's focused on research I did in Canada already with homeless young people, and it's theorizing democracy in ways that might resonate with you, and it's similar to how I expect to frame the book. So if you're interested, I can send you that. Some light reading.
Yeah. I love reading those type of articles and stuff. I'm constantly reading.
Okay.
And I guess that's another way, another part of where I get kind of my knowledge and information is I'll read all these even if it's a conservative article or a more liberal or I'll just read everything.
Yeah.
My mind.
Yeah. Cool. That's great.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. I'll send that along. Awesome. Thank you, Stephen.
No problem.
Enjoy the rest of your evening. It's just almost 6 o'clock, and it's nice to talk to someone in the same time zone. Most of my interviews have been, you got to figure out, the Australia and New Zealand ones are really interesting because it's my night before and their next morning. It's the only way to line it up without one of us being in the middle of the night. So, yeah, good to talk to a fellow Canadian in the same time zone.
Sure we'll talk again.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. Okay. Take care. Bye.